So here we are inside Krea. This is the 3D page or room, whatever you want to call it. If you go to the home screen and you hover over the home button, you'll see that there is a 3D objects, I guess, tab that takes you to a room. It's also down here in the middle. It takes you to the same place. It's a little confusing. I know it's the way they designed it, but they both go to the same place. Not sure why they did this. I mean, maybe someday I'll find out. And they also rearranged the home screen so that now things are actually centered and stacked, which makes a lot more sense than the way they were last week, where the video and enhancer windows were at the top and you had to see these little buttons to scroll across. So they are listening to the feedback that those of us that are posting in their Discord on the redesign are posting about changes. So at the time that you're watching this video, it might have changed again. So let's hope that it doesn't, but let's also hope that if it does, it's for a really good reason. So I'm going to go into 3D objects. So here's my chair that I designed, I think a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was teaching on, I guess that was like April, I don't know, 11th or 12th, that Saturday. And I tried to design the same chair again with the same prompt. You'll see it up here, a dark red velvet chair with sidearms and elaborate carved wooden trim. I'm going to copy that prompt, but what it gave me on Saturday was kind of, in my opinion, a recliner, which I'm not a fan of, especially for any kind of pet composites. But Saturday, it wasn't really working that great either. So I'm going to try once again to make this red chair. Maybe it won't make the same chair, hence the problem, but I'm going to just paste that text in by Command V. It will copy it to like a clipboard, and then you still have to do an old-fashioned Command V. And I'm thinking, since it's the same chair, I'm going to say elaborate carved wooden trim painted gold, so that it's a little different. And then I'm going to click the icon here. The little stars is the official or unofficial logo for AI. So whenever you see stars on something, that means there's AI involved in the chore or task that the computer is doing. So I clicked it, and now it's analyzing everything, and it's making the chair. Yep, this looks better already. Less like a recliner. Definitely looking better than Saturday when I was teaching this, and it was really bad on Saturday. So this technology, depending on the day you launch it, it can vary. It's like that with all the different sites. So the technology is changing daily, hourly, sometimes by the minute. At the moment, it seems to be working, which is awesome. So it's cooking and it's making this chair. So there we have it. So it's similar to my first chair. It's a little bit wider, but that's okay. So I'm going to now click on Send to Realtime, and it's going to launch the Realtime page. Okay, so here's the chair. The next thing I'm going to do is delete these default shapes that it gives us. They are if you want to kind of draw something like the shape of a tree, the shape of a house, and you can play with shapes to kind of create a starting point. Now with the chair here, I can rotate. Okay, it's a three-dimensional object. Not that we'd go under the chair, but we could. So there's the chair. I can also zoom in and out. Okay, I can move it around. And right now it's just sitting on a gray background. So, down here is the prompt of what we're going to tell it to do. Right now, it's just giving us a default image. It's also feeding off these models over here. So the Flux Realtime model allows for trained styles. The HD model allows for some styles. Let's just click on that, and you'll see right away it's a little different than obviously what Flux is giving us. Flux is giving us this girl, and HD is giving us this. You are allowed to add an image style with this model, but see, it's just an image style. It's not a trained style. So if we go back to Flux Realtime, It's going to allow us to add a trained style. So at least it's supposed to. Yeah, it says train styles. So let me click on style. Yep, and it does launch the styles. I am going to go into my private, and it'll show the ones that are trained just for real time. Not all of your styles will show up. You have to train them independently for both Flux image creation and real time image creation. So here's my lion. I'm going to grab him. And he's sitting down here, and it doesn't know what to do with him yet, okay? So here is kind of the short version of that style command. Now, when I say style, it's not style like the style of a background. Style is also a generic word on the platform for trained character, trained background, whether it's in Flux, whether it's in real time. So the word style is used kind of two different ways, which is a little confusing for some people. So in this case, it's a style that you're grabbing that's already been trained as a character for real time. Okay, so now I'm going to grab this and get into my nicer aspect ratio that I like. Let's, that was really weird. Let's go into this 3x2, and is it going to let me zoom in so that this isn't so small over here? Yeah, it's going to let me zoom in. So here's my chair. Let me see if I can move this down. Yeah, I'm just holding down the space bar, and I get the hand. And then let me make this smaller. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, that's what that does. So it's going to change the format of that. Let me just see here if I go like this. This will also make it smaller. So here's my chair, okay? And I'm going to say a lion sitting on a red velvet chair with, and you have to spell as best you can. I'm not a good speller, nor am I a good typer. Red velvet chair with carved wood. Oh, that's cool. Arms. And the wood is painted gold. There it is. Okay, space. Now, if you see something over here you like, before you start sliding stuff around, over here in the bottom right corner, you can hit save. Once you start playing with this slider, you'll see things change pretty dramatically, okay? So it's going to do weird things. Expect that. So here's the lion on the chair, and because it's just sitting on a gray background, it's not doing anything that exciting. So, you know, there's a couple things we could do. We could add a background image, okay? By adding a background image, it's now going to interpret the layers like the Photoshop would. So we could add an image to the background, and that will play into the chair. So, but right now, see how it's just by me moving it, even if I turn it a little bit, you'll see it'll change. It's not 100% reading what I'm doing, but it's listening, and it's looking at the chair as a prompt, okay? Maybe someday it'll actually turn exactly the way I'm turning it, which would be great. So if I make it a little bigger and I bring it up, you can see it's just kind of doing this thing. So let me just hit save. So I have one of these. You could actually make a bunch of these as assets, and then you could train them as a style, and then they could be a style that's trained to be a character. Okay, so let me do this. Let me now just grab an image. Let's just grab, let me go into my Krea folder. Let's go to the painted chair. So we have Brie and Frankie on the painted chair. Let me just see here. So Frankie's already, or Brie's on that chair. Let me just see here if I grab one of these chairs. There, let me just grab this chair. Now this is pretty low res, so I'm not quite sure what it'll do, but we can put this in here in the background, and I'm gonna find a corner because this is a vertical. So you know what? Since this is a vertical, let's switch this to vertical. And let me get outside of the thing here so I can, let's do this. Let's kind of slide this around. Let me bring it over here. Oh, it went to 1-to-1. I don't want 1-to-1. Let's go there. Let's do this. Let me zoom out a little bit. You just kind of drag your finger down your mouse. At least you do on a Mac if you want to zoom out. So I'm just going to drag it a little further. And I do have upscaled versions of each chair. I don't know if it's, like, again, I don't know if it's going to make a huge difference. The other thing is if I go send backward, now you'll see my red chair is on top. And I can go like this to make it bigger, but I can also go like this. Let's do this. Oh, I got to grab the right thing. Let's, see, now this is where it gets a little tricky because it's layers and it's kind of like auto select. So let's try grabbing that. Now it's going to rotate it. All right, which sometimes is hard to do. There we go. So now let me make my chair bigger. And let's pull back the AI strength a little bit, and bam, it starts adding a room just like that. Now my lion looks really weird. Let's pull this up a little bit. But there's a room. And now if I pull this up of the lion becomes stronger. The chair in the photo is pretty cool. I don't like the room it's in at all. Okay, so a lion sitting in a red velvet chair with carved wood arms, and the wood is painted gold. Okay. Now, if I say in a beautiful, if I say a beautiful room, in a beautiful room, let's say that. And then if I go up to the top and I say a rough painting, and again, I can't type or spell, so there's that. A rough painting of a lion sitting on a red velvet chair with carved wood arms, and the wood is painted gold in a beautiful room. Okay, so now see how it's starting to look like a painting. In a beautiful, let's say the style of the image is, is an old master's painting. And fix the typos. And it actually knows spelling, which is great. And let me just add a space here. I think that matters, not sure. So now it's becoming more of a painting of my lion, which it does look a lot like my lion. I wish it worked this well with humans. It's a little tricky with humans. But again, most of what I teach is for animal photography, and whether it's pets or wild animals or zoo animals. But if you're doing humans, you got to like fight with it a little bit harder. All right. So now if I slide this around, you're going to see things change rather quickly. So I could go all the way up to here, and it's going to jump like that. Actually, I really like that, so I'm going to hit save. And what's really cool is it's showing paw prints on the velvet. Like, you know how velvet kind of, you can imprint it as you're touching it. That's actually kind of funny to me that it's doing that. Let's see if it'll read into some lighting. The lighting is coming from the left, and is very, let's try strong and see what happens. I'm just curious. It doesn't really seem to know that word. Let's see. The lighting is coming from the left and is very, how about directional? Let's try that. Directional. Yeah, I guess that's okay. So now I'm going to just hit save again, just so I have this one. Oh, that person in the background's really creepy weird. So we would have to change that. We could always throw an image in there that's like an image of a baby lion or a female lion. If I play with this a little bit more, Now I'm going up to 99%, so it's really pushing just the images on the left. So your background, your chair, and your lion. Okay, it's really just reading those three things now. If I just come down one click at a time, okay, so now the photo in the background's a little better. That's really funny. Let's come a little bit further. Now we get some lady again. The lion got smaller. Let's come down a little bit more, a little bit more. And I'm just going to hit a save just because you can't get all these iterations unless you actually manually do this. So now over here, I'm also going to say a rough painting of and there's an extra space in there, but a rough painting of a lion on a red velvet chair with carved wood arms, and the wood is painted gold. Let me capitalize the word the. I'm going to say the chair is by a large window with elaborate drapes. And we need an E in there. I went to Catholic school. It's 100% the nun's fault that I can't spell. With elaborate drapes and chandelier. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. How do you spell chandelier? That's not right at all. Nope. Chandelier. Let's try that. Close enough. It knew it. Okay, awesome. There's a chandelier right over his head, which is really funny. Let's do this. Let's drag it down a little bit. That's really funny. His little babies are by him, and there's a cat in the background, some creepy naked guy by that urn. Let's go a little farther. That's really pretty. Let me do a save on that one. And then I'm going to just pull the chair around a little bit just to see what happens. That's really nice too. This tool here, again, we can rotate. That's very strange. That's kind of nice though. Look, if I come like this, let's see what it does. Okay, that's really weird. And then if I come like, oh, there's something in the background I don't like. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. And then if I come back around to the front, sometimes you can get back those images that you liked if you got like too quick to move and you didn't get your images. And then let me hit save. And I'm going to say of a lion sitting on a red velvet chair with carved wood arms, and the wood is painted gold. The style, okay, and then the chandelier. Okay, after the chandelier, I'm going to say the lion is facing front. And see if that helps. Not really. Okay, so, yeah, it's kind of interesting how it does that. Okay, so let's do this. Let me just hit a save again, just in case. And I'm going to pull the chair. This time I'm going to pull the chair around to the front. And kind of put it right in the middle there, and that's really funny. Okay, that's extremely funny. Okay, let's pull this up a little bit. And let's also, this is at 85. Let's pull the lion up to like 95. We definitely don't want any people in the background. Like, that'll look kind of strange. Like, yeah, we don't want those people back there. And there's a mannequin back there, which I guess would possibly be real. Let's come down. Let's just come down. If I just kind of come down, let's see what starts to happen here. The lion gets smaller because it's not, oh, but that's really cool. So see how you could use this to generate backgrounds, and then you could train a background style like this that has a chair in it. And I'm going to save that. And then you could have a bunch of these. I don't like the bars, but you could remove them, but you could start training a style like this. Now, I don't like the chair leaning forward. So now let's straighten the chair out and try that. And then I'm going to hit save on that one. And don't forget, then you could always take this image and you could bring it into Flux and play around with it there too. And then I'm just going to push the lion up a little farther. He's peeking out from under the drape. Let's just pull the AI strength up a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. There's his head. Come on. Where's our lion? A little more. Let's jump up. Okay, now we got 3 lions. That's really funny. And then let's get up to here. Oh, that's really creepy. And then let's kind of keep coming. Keep coming. Let's keep coming. And there he is. So now he's back in the chair. So that's an example of how you can make a 3D object and then you can upload a background. You could, do this any way you wanted. You could use a photorealistic background. I tend to do artsy stuff because that's what I like. But that's how you would do this in real time. I don't really like real time, but I wanted to show this to people so that they understand how it works. It's completely different than the other platform on here, which would be the Flux generator. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little tour of real time with a red velvet chair and a lion.